from the UK in the wee hours of the morning. So they're 15 metres out on the third phase. They're playing the short side of the Mustangs. That's in there. Adam Walker thought about it. He goes himself. And I think he might just have handled the line. Indeed he has. So the Hornets now, they'll have a scrum feed 10 metres out from their own line.
Yeah, good defence there from the Hornets. I think it was O'Gorman, the number 4 there for the Hornets. They threw a nice long ball to find Adam Walker, and it was man on man, and O'Gorman did a good job there. He could have had a little bit more help from his wing partner there in Cameron Roberts. When it's man on man there, you can just go and get him and make that tackle. So they got the result they were after there, but Murwillumbah showed early, even with this breeze blowing around, they're happy to use that football and chance their arm with a couple of long passes to see if they can find some joy on the edges. Of
course, we're proudly sponsored as well by the Cudgen League Club and Air Physio. So the Hornets, they showed some of their old attacking skill, playing from deep in their own half last week out at Blamble, and no doubt they'll be buoyed by that win. And as I said, Crossy, they made some mass changes into their halves pairing. As you can just see there, Caleb Zeeble just monstering it onto the 40-metre line, but just for his trouble, he's just hit of a knock on there, and it's going to give the Murwillumbah Mustangs a scrum feed 40 out from the Hornets line.
Well, I just spoke about it, didn't I? The mistakes that there's been in their game all season, this interrupted 2020 season. It was a great run from Luke Dumas. They really missed Dumas the first 2 games that we did call, and he just showed his class there, poked his nose through, got a quick play the ball, and Caleb Zeeble came off the back fence in a great charge, but unfortunately, a little bobble, little error in the ruck. So he hands over possession to the Mustangs on around what looks like the 40-metre line. They'll be in good position here for an attacking kick at the end of the set.
So the Mustangs play short side off the scrum, brought down there 30 metres away from the Hornets line. So this would be Basgrove. Floats it into the hands and just going to be brought down there. I think that's Mark O'Grady in the tackle as well as Miles Donnelly. They're 20 metres out, the Mustangs. They'll be looking to try and get first points and break this momentum of the Hornets. And you can just see there, big Tim James just making a crunching tackle there with the help with Caleb Zeeble. It's not one tuck you want to be, that's not 2 players you want to be in a tackle. I could dare say that's Basgrove. Marches that one just shy of the line. And Hornets, after doing so well in defensive, once again considered a defensive penalty. And I think Basgrove's calling for the 6, isn't he?
Yeah, they'll take that again. And I think that was a pretty smart play there from Miles Donnelly. He was offside, but rather than let Basgrove scoot and get some momentum, he got forward, made the tackle and gave away the penalty. So now Cudgen, they'll get their line reset and try to repel this Mustangs attack.
So this is Dan Turtland, that's Jon Banchetti coming over from the Kyle Turkeys pre-season. This is Basgrove, floats it into the hands. I think that's Cade Hill, and they're looking for that line break and just get first points. And that's back-to-back penalties. Oh, so that's 3 defensive penalties in a row there from the Hornets. Crossy, it's just old habits are starting to reek again.
But they are. Semi Grant there just got done for a strip. So again, they get their line set. And the Mustangs, they've got good shape left and right. Big numbers here left.
So this will be Basgrove on the second phase of play. Floats it into the hands. That's gone. Oh, man, intended there for Barley Crompton, but it's just handed up. Back over onto the Hornets, 10 metres. So Ben O'Gorman will play it. That's Cam Roberts. Brings it centre of field. And he'll be brought down there just about 15 metres away from the Hornets line. This will be Jackson Rahita on the 20. Got DeGroot on his right, floats it into Ben O'Gorman. He's going to be brought down there just 30 metres away from the Hornets line. DeGroot from dummy half knows how to make a line break, but now this will be the Mustangs being called for offside there. Adam Walker not getting back on the 10 there, Crossy.
Yeah, well done, Cudgen there. They held their nerve well on their line. Actually, it was a little pass from Phil Ramage, a little short ball to Bailey Crompton. Probably got a little bit cute there. Probably had to play at the back. Crompton was probably a little bit too far into that line and come up with an error. And then Cudgen, 2 or 3 tackles downfield. Good scoot from DeGroot. Earned his team a penalty. And now the Hornets, they'll go on the attack.
So Mark O'Grady floats it into Sam Grant. He's going to just be brought down there about 35 metres away from the Mustangs line. O'Grady from dummy half floats it into Caleb Zeeble. Thought about the offload. He manages to get into the hands. I think that is Jalen DeGroot. You could probably tell straight away they're relying on that line break from Jalen DeGroot. That's Miles Donnelly. He's going to be blindsided there about 20 metres away from the Mustangs line. So this is the 4th phase of play. Jackson Rahita floats it into Caleb Zeeble, back into the hands of Mark O'Grady. He brings it centre of field. Great tackle there from, I think that's Joe Basgrove. Down. This is going to be the fourth phase of play. Gets it into Tim James. He will be brought down there, but well tackled there from Remy Vanu. This will be the... Sure, well, I was about to say it's the last, but I think the referee there has called an infringement against the Hornets. No, he's actually called a penalty for the Hornets. So very end-to-end so far in the early stages here, Crossy.
It is. There's been some good play here. As we say, who is this? Connor Zeeble.
Yeah, so that's
the big run.
So that's Connor Zeeble just ever so close to the line. If Hornets can just score the first one here, this will carry their momentum after last week. That's Tim James. He's brought down there just about merely a few metres away from the Mustangs line. They're really bashing down on this door, which they did so well in that third quarter against the Jets. This is Miles. That was intended for Miles Donnelly, but eventually gets his hands on it, but he couldn't get himself in the right position where he needs to be. So this is Jackson Rahita, floats it, gets it into Tim James. He's already been doing extracurricular already in the first quarter, Tim James. This is Jackson Rahita, third phase. Gets it into, I think that's Mark O'Grady. Looks for the floating pass. There's Jalen LeGroux. Thought about the left step, but he's just got blindsided by the Mustangs. This is the last. Gets it into, I think that's Connor Zeeble from dummy half. Nice big floating kick into the corner. And there should be a hand on it there for the Hornets. Has he knocked it on? He has. I thought there could have been even double knock on Crossy, but it's just first one coming off the Hornets. Restart on the 10.
Yeah, mate, I think it was a nice kick from O'Grady. It was right on the spot. I think it was a double knock on. I'm just trying to see who made the first knock on and who's actually going to have the scrum feed here. Well, wait, he's pointing towards the Hornets, so they will get another set of 6 here. Nice set from the Hornets. You called it, Dwayne. Tim James had about 3 or 4 carries the last couple of sets. He's been strong early. Caleb Zeeble, good offload to Miles Donnelly. They do look threatening when they string a couple of passes together.
So as we're in the first portion of the first quarter here, still 0-0 here at Kingscliff. This will be marched up there from Caleb Zeeble. He's just going to have to do it. There's about 5 players trying to bring down Caleb Zeeble, and he's just inches away from the line. And another penalty conceded by the Mustangs. And then you're getting to the point with the, like, are they going to go for the 2 or?
No one's interested in taking the 2 today. No. It's game on here this afternoon.
So this is taken up here by Miles Donnelly. Another restart here for the Hornets. Yeah, you think, though, they probably should try and, they won't get too many chances like this throughout the course of this game, Crossy. They float that into the hands. They're trying to aim for the corner. That's where they went through in the last couple of plays, and he's just spilt it there. Be interested to see what the referee calls. He's calling that spill against the Hornets, and that's, as I was just saying there, Crossy, he's not going to have opportunities like that for the next 75-odd minutes.
And that was great defence. I think it's Tom Vickery out there marking up on Luke Dumas. No easy task marking up on Dumas. He's got a big right fend and a good left foot step, and he does possess that sort of Matt Gidley type flick pass. If he does engage the winger, he can get it out to his fellow winger and get around him. So well done there to Vickery, and well done to the Mustangs. No one interested in the 2 points here today. We could... if one team does register a try, Dwayne, we may see the floodgates open for more.
So as I may mention, as the Cudgen Hornets had that, I think it was a 26-16 win or somewhere thereabouts last week, 7 days ago. Whilst the Mustangs, they had the 2 points in the bag against the Jets a fortnight earlier. They were up 36-22 in the last quarter, and they just handed it away and lost by a couple. And they went down by a couple of points as well in another tight one down at Cabarita against the Raiders in the first round, when it was, as it was formerly known. So be interesting to see what comes out of this, Crossy.
Yeah, it hasn't been the start to the year for the Mustangs, has it? I mean, I say start to the year, we're now in August, and we're playing the 3rd or 4th game of the year, but wouldn't have been the way that Coach Nathan Jordan envisaged the season to pan out. But here we are, we're round 1 of a new competition today.
And I can guarantee you, Crossy, he's not the only one. I remember 2 years ago, I think it was this very weekend, about 2 years ago, where these two teams played in a semi-final, in a week 2 of a final.
Yeah, wow. I suppose that's where we are, aren't we? Sort of mid-August.
And then who knows what's happening after that. So, as I made mention, we're at the mercy of the Queensland government at the present with what's happening there, Crossy.
Yeah, good times. Here's a good carry from Crompton.
So that's taken up there on the 45 metres away from the Hornets line. Floats in the hands of Bianchetti. And what a good tackle around the hips there from Miles Donnelly, completing the tackle. So this is the last now for the Mustangs, 45 metres away. Besgrove floats a big, long, spiralling kick. and should be collected there by Connor Mills, and he'll just going to be brought there just shy of his 20. As you can see, their challenge group playing at fullback. He's replacing Jake Sands, who's he had a bit of an injury with his lower back. So we were told.
Bit of mail coming through. He's done a tailbone or something, Sands. So we wish him well. He's a big loss from them today, but it does, as you alluded to, Nev, it does allow Jalen de Groot to go back to his preferred position of fullback. And he's an exciting young prospect, isn't he? He moves well, and he's very good in the air, as we know.
And Crossy, I had the pleasure of calling his games when he was playing for the North Rivers Titans under 16s last year, and a few games when he played for the under 18s this year, and he could score it from the 99.5 metre line on his 5 metre line on his own line, and he as we can just see there, that's going to be much up there. I think that's that's Liam Cusack. He can also score him from anywhere himself. So he's coming back to his parodical home from the Hornets. That's where he originally came from. So,
well, isn't it great, mate? You know, we're having a good chat here pre-game to Jamie McCormack, the junior recruitment manager for the Titans, and what a great job he's done. And proud times for Jamie, because he's here watching a lot of these guys that he's brought through the systems. You know, we're going to see Tommy Weaver come on probably in that second quarter, and what an outstanding prospect he is. But, you know, there's other kids like Parker Bryant, and you mentioned, you know, De Groot, and there's many more playing 18s and things. So good to see the Titans are starting to bear some fruit of their hard labour.
So they'll be looking here for the overlap, but they'll go for the kick in the corner, just going over the heads of Cam Roberts. He'll eventually pick. Oh, there was a hint of a knock on there, but referee is dead. I think he's called a penalty for offside being in front of the kicker there.
Yeah, I think Walker was offside. That's a shame, because that would have been a knock on with a scrum 10 metres out. So let his teammates down there a little bit. Walker probably just a bit too keen.
Crossies, you made mention some of those Northern Rivers Titans juniors. You rattled a few names off there, which no doubt Thomas Weaver would be his name would feature in that black book a few times, no doubt. Tommy's sort of top of the tree for this area, probably, as far as young prospects go, without trying to talk him up too much. But just a great family, great young kid, and he'll come on and handle it quite well. I tell you what, I wish he was wearing a Broncos jersey last night with some of the kicking efforts I saw last night when Broncos, when they eventually were in front, and they do what they do best and throw away 30 points in the second half. But Tommy Weaver would have been as he was slotting the conversions last week for the Hornets. I thought, well, geez, I wish he was wearing a Broncos jersey kicking the goals last night.
Yeah, your Broncos are going well, Dwayne, this year.
Oh, mate, it's one thing after another at the moment, so I'll just leave it at that. So
it's like a comedy show.
Oh, mate, it's mate. I signed up for Fox Sports, not the Comedy Channel. So as we get back to live action here, so that's Parker Bryant floats it into the hands of Ben O'Gorman, puts a nice little step in, but he's going to get blindsided. And this is the last down for the Hornets. They're about 25 metres away from the Mustangs line. This is Marco Grady playing from dummy half. Nice long kick into the corner there from Sam Grant. And just glides into, I think that was Liam Cusack. And he's going to go for a gallop. And he's going to be brought down there just about 30 metres away. So this is playing up into that's going to be tackled there from Miles Donnelly, as well as Jackson Rahida. So and they're about 30 metres away from the Mustangs line. Besgrove floats it into, couldn't quite make that is, but Caleb Zeeble always looking busy in attack and defence quite early. The Hornets, you can bet their bottom dollar they're going to be playing the whole 80 here today in front of a home crowd here at Nedburn Oval. So they're just on the halfway, the Mustangs. They've done well just to get it onto the 40. And there's an overlap there that's still looking promising for the Mustangs, so they get through a set of hands. Can they get the first points here on the 30-metre line? I think that's Caleb Nickel. Sorry, that is Cusack. They're playing short side. That's gone up there from Dylan Smith. And, it's just a hit of a knock on. And should be a line drop out for the Hornets.
That's outstanding chase from Bailey Crompton. Edge back row. He's got no right to be in that position, chasing down that kick. That's a real attitude effort for his team there. Geez, the Mustangs, they really stripped Cudgen for numbers. They sucked him in through that middle third and then pulled their pants down on this edge, although a couple of passes went astray. If the pass goes to hand there, they score quite easily. But well done there to Crompton. That should have been just an easy take here for the Cudgen winger, but with that pressure on, he come up with the error, and now Zeeble, he'll drop out, and they'll have to defend their line once again.
As we approach the end here of the first quarter, it's very evenly matched. So it basically can't split, literally still 0-0 in the first quarter. And they were calling in for a hit of a knock on there for the Mustangs. Won't get it. There's going to be Remy Vanu. Takes it on to the 20 metres. And you can just see great legs tackle there from Josh Leva, as I made mention, playing his 150th game for the Hornets, playing on the short side here, the Mustangs. Oh, they're just meeting him on the line there in defence, the Hornets. So the Mustangs, they'll have this 12 metres away from the Hornets line. They're floating it through their hands. It's a big overlap on the left, so they bring it into the centre. Well brought down there from Miles Donnelly, just shy of 10 metres. Can this be the first points coming for the Mustangs? This is going to be Phil Ramage, brings it into the hands of Bailey Crompton. They're marching it ever so close, the Mustangs. Can they get it on, make it stick here on the last? This goes into Adam Walker, floats it into the hands of Liam Cusack. And he's a massive try scorer, the top try scorer from last year. And it only makes sense that he gets a first try for the Mustangs in this contest here, 4-0 to Murwillumbah.
Great vision there from the hooker, Joe Besgrove. We know the class player that he is, the country player. I think he's the country captain last year. He saw the space was right on the edge, and he threw the beautiful cutout pass to Walker. Walker could see that the Cudgen winger, which is Cameron Roberts, was looking in, and he put it on into the hands of that prolific try scorer in Cusack. And that was far too easy for Liam Cusack. He got over into the corner, puts him out now to an early lead with a kick to come. But it was the work through the middle, Dwayne. That's where it's at for Murwillumbah at the moment. That's my concerns for Cudgen. They're sucking them in through the middle, leaving them short on that edge, and they're trying to turn in and solve it, but got to get their middle working a little bit harder. And
whilst he scored something like 25 tries in last year's campaign, Crossy, and some big ones too, nothing special than scoring at your old patch.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know what a jinx I can be on kickers. I was about to say Phil Ramage hardly ever misses.
Got a big sea breeze coming from that kick.
He'll need to start this out to the right-hand post and let the wind do its thing.
So Ramage puts the left boot. It's looking promising, but it's just going to hit the right upright. And that is all she wrote here in the first quarter. 4-0. Mustangs over Cudgen here at Kingscliff.
And the Nathan Cross curse continues with the goal kicking. So apologies to the Mustangs fans.
I wouldn't say that. That looked like it was almost about to go over. Then it was just a snippy little breeze from there from the Salt Village where I spent the weekend, Crosby.
Looked like you had a good time down there, Nev, but weather looked good, accommodation was good.
Oh, the weather was a bit Melbourne-like yesterday. It was warm at about 10 a.m. and then it just went cold, and then there was a big dark cloud coming from where Yukai and I was supposed to be in Glen Innes this weekend where it was supposed to be like -2 and here it was downpouring there, but no, it was just a bit how you're going with the weather. But no, it was great to have some time with a partner in this little bubble, as I made mention, where we're living in Byron, I can't get to Queensland and she can't come down here, so we're just having a little weekend here and making the most of this this situation we're in.
Yeah, it's crazy times that we're in, mate, isn't it? That's for sure. Talking to a few people here today that are having to, move from south of the border, potentially base themselves in Queensland now if this hard border closure does happen at sort of the end of the week, as they're alluding to. So, uncharted waters, which is the term that gets thrown around too often, and unprecedented, and all those words we've heard too often. But really, just getting a snapshot here today. We're just south of the New South Wales-Queensland border, and yeah, there's a real snapshot here today of the effect it is having on people's lives, both financially and emotionally, with families having to be separated to keep things going. So, yeah, we don't want to make this political, Dwayno, but if the Queensland Premier knew what was going on down here, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just leave that. But the main thing is, as long as everyone can just stay safe, and we'll see it through. And as I said, I've got a partner up in Runaway Bay who, well, as I said, we had to go meet somewhere halfway. So hopefully this will, common sense or somewhat will prevail, whilst everyone can stay safe, but as well as livelihoods can be maintained as well.
Yep, absolutely. And if we shift back gears to the footy now, going into this second quarter, talking to Jamie McCormack again at the Titans, he said that the plan for Tommy Weaver was to sort of come on in that second quarter. So expect to see Tom Weaver go on here now for the Hornets. I'll just be interested to see if he goes to this right edge, because Sam Grant does prefer to play on that left edge. So I'm assuming Weaver will go to the right edge, which means he'll be contending with the experience of Bailey Crompton, the edge back row from Murwillumbah, running a fair bit of traffic at him. So I'll be keen to see how they handle this.
Whether you're suffering from a common cold, flus or allergies or something more sinister such as asthma, or if you're just seeking to sustain your performance on the paddock, then look no further than Air Physio. Air Physio provides effective treatment to the lungs and chest to help regain extra capacity for those who may experience respiratory-related health issues. Or Air Physio products can be purchased online at airphysio.com or in-store at Shop 3/47 Tweed Coast Road, Cabarita and Crossy. I'll have to make, after the last few weeks here and some of the games I saw last week, I've still got to make my visit there to Air Physio and give it a shot.
Yeah, I saw my old mate Joe DeTheory on the Air Physio ad.
Okay.
So he's obviously an ambassador for them and a believer in it, so I'll have to touch base with Jared and get the lowdown as we get underway here at Nedburn.
So this will now be the Mustangs. Can they go for back-to-back tries? Or can they break that momentum of Cudgen scoring that? Oh, that's I think just a little flip in the tackle there, but the referee's just allowing the play on. So this will be, but instead he's called a penalty against the Hornets for I believe that's isn't that offside there, Crossy?
Yeah. Just holding down too long. Really poor start there from the Hornets. It was a poor kick-off, and then they let the Mustangs carry in, really strong carry. Then they hold down to play the ball. So the Mustangs after half-time, we're not even a minute in, and they're going to be having tap 30 metres out.
So the Mustangs on the first phase marches that one up to the 25-metre line, or just shy of 20 metres. So this is Basgrove, floats it into the hands. I think that's Bailey Cromp. Sorry, that's I think Rob Shepherd there, just inside the 20 there for the Mustangs. They'll go the long side. This will go into Dion Banchetti. Been a handy pick up from Kyogle, but as Kyogle couldn't make it into the comp this year, they're playing the short side. Not floating in the hands of Kate Hill, and they got it over the line, but they couldn't quite get it down. We're just ever so short of the line. Besgrove on the, I think it's the fourth phase, floats it into the hands of Dylan Smith, glides it across, should be mopped up, just go over the head of Jalen DeGroot. Thought there might have been a hit of a knock on there from Bailey Crompton, but we'll see what the referee calls here.
Looking at it live, Nev, I thought Crompton
might have got off the chest.
Yeah, chest to his right hand to it, but let's see what they call.
So the referee there consults with his assistant. I think this could be given a try. And Bailey Crompton has added extra points now for the Mustangs in the back-to-back sets. So it'll now be 8-0 Mustangs over the Hornets here at Kingscliff.
Yeah, well, we were hidden from that. Crompton sort of turned his back on it. Where we're situated here at Nedburn Field, we're at this northern end on this western side, and we were hidden, as well as our camera. So we don't know if you got a hand to that or not, but nevertheless, the referee was in pretty good position. Try or no try, it's going to go down as 4 points, soon to be 6, and that's a bit of a warning shot there, I feel, for the Hornets. As I touched on a moment ago, really poor start for them after that break in the first quarter, so they'll need this to reset.
And Bailey Crompton, he's had four tries in his campaign last year, scored 2 tries in the finals, both games one apiece in the game against Casino, and that was he was also the one that missed out on the grand final too, wasn't it, Crossy?
He did, mate. He was suspended. It was a real shame for the Mustangs, as we see Ramage put that through. He missed that grand final, Nev, which I remember, you might remember during the grand final.
There was a bit of a Donnybrook, yeah.
Yeah, there was. That's right. So anyway, he missed that game, and we all know what happened at Kingston Smith Park that day. They weren't successful, but he's really been strong early for him.
So the Mustangs getting off to a fast start. The Hornets might need to get back into the playbook and find what was working for them last week. They didn't quite open up until about the third quarter anyway, Crossy, but you think for me at 10-0 down off the back of 2 sets, you think that the Hornets are going to have to try and gain some momentum, because that's the other thing that worried me too, is this going back to where they were previous to that game against Bullambul, because they had quite a number of chances right on that Mustangs lane. They just couldn't put it away. So I think they're going to have to go back to what was working last week.
Yeah, I think Tommy Weaver will make a huge difference, because obviously he's only just come on. As we see another penalty, this frustration will be kicking in. I think that's young Parker Bryant, who's had a good start to the game. His first carry was strong. He got a good offload down the right-hand side, a little bit of a raid, but gave away a cheap one there. I think now that Thomas Weaver is on, Sam Grant was obviously fixed on that left side, and they were playing basically without another right-hand side half. So they've got 2 attacking options now, and but they need to get the defence in order, mate, before they can get the ball.
So there's a great tackle there from Caleb Zeeble, 25 metres away from their own line, the Cudgen Hornets. This will be now Basgrove, floats it into the hands of, that's now gone into, I think that's Jon Banchetti, and he's going to be brought down just centre of field. So Basgrove just looking a little bit frustrated, just wanting to play that left side, but it just wasn't set up in time. But they'll take that on the right side of the field, and just a bit of stubbornness in attack there from the Murwillumbah Mustangs. This is Basgrove. Nice long floating pass. They'll get it through the hands into, that's Dan Butterini. And he'll be brought down there just 7 metres away. Nice long pass. They glide that one across the carpet. Well plucked there from Jalen de Groot. Is he going to get out in time? He's going to do well if he has.
We've got touchy on here, Dwayne.
Okay,
I'll try to preempt what young Butterini will hang on to Tommy Weaver after a play the ball, and should be a Cudgen penalty, and it is.
It is. So Cudgen Hornets there led off the hook, but they're going to have to make the most of it here.
See, that's an interesting contest. So we know, I've spoken about Tommy Weaver a number of times. Young Dan Butterini, he's a young kid himself, either 17 or 18. They would have played a fair bit of footy either together or against each other. And Butterini started playing A-grade this year. And, of course, we know Tommy's only just started playing first grade himself. So a couple of young bucks going at it.
So this is Thomas Weaver playing from dummy half, floats it into the hands of Parker Bryant. And he'll be brought down there by Joe Basgrove, 30 metres away from the Hornets line. It'll be Jackson Raheda from dummy half, goes himself, floats it into Kobe Mills. They just bring it centre of field on the third phase. This will be Jackson Raheda. They go the short side here, goes into Caleb Zeeble, just needing to make an extra few metres, so just get it into the Mustangs half a field. Floats it into Thomas Weaver. You can just tell there he's got the bright boots on today there, Crossy.
He does. If he wasn't already going to get enough attention from the Mustangs players, they can certainly find him now.
So they bring it in centre field. This should be a big, long, spiraling kick there from Sam Grant. Goes right into the corner. Just beats everyone from the Mustangs. Should be mopped up there by Dylan Smith. And he'll go for a gallop, but he's just going to be mad in defence there from de Groot and Sam Grant. Have they done enough force to try and get it over the dead ball line? Not quite. So they'll get that into Cusack. Great tackle there from Parker Bryant, and he'll just mows down. I think that's Phil Ramage getting brought down there just 10 metres away from his own line, the Murwillumbah Mustangs. And you can just see the Lisa Cudgen Hornets, they're just meeting them up in defence and just not letting a foot off the pedal there, even though they're still 10 points down, Crossy.
No, they're not. They're starting to push the envelope a little bit in the ruck there. They're trying to stop the speed of the ruck, and they've already been pinged for a couple of penalties, so they'll need to be a little bit careful.
So they're playing on the short side now, the Mustangs. Oh, there was an overlap there waiting for it, but it's just going to be caught off guard. This will be the last now. They're 45 metres out, about 5 inside field, the Mustangs. Basgrove, long gliding kick, should be caught there from de Groot. And let's just see how he goes for a gallop here, right on his 20. But he's going to be met there by Jon Banchetti. For me, though, he made a bit of a forwards run there. You thought de Groot might have made a step either way to try and just bring it inside field, Crossy, but not to be.
Yeah, well, to his credit, he's not frightened, is he? And it's never easy for a young kid to come into A-grade and particularly play against a big pack, experienced pack like the Mustangs. And de Groot, as we see, Weaver have a dart down the short side, but de Groot hasn't looked to shirk it at all, has he?
And as we could just see, a penalty for offside, I believe. And so let's just see if the Hornets, they'll get another chance to try and peg back this lead, but they've got to start making some moves now, especially now that Thomas Weaver's out there doing the business.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of shape they've been setting up the last couple of weeks, but I'd love to see Weaver and Grant pass the ball to each other. I'd love to see the two halves combined because they're both very good players.
So this will be now Jackson Raheda from dummy half, 20 metres out. This will be taken up there by Myers Donnelly. They'll be back to where they started on the third phase. This is going to be Raheda. Floats the pass into, I think that's Sam Grant gone into now Parker Bryant. And he's just going to be mowed down there by, I think that's Johnny Vandershaw. This will be Jackson Raheda, plays it long side, goes into Raheda, goes for a gallop himself, found the gap. That's well read and fed there by Jackson Raheda, and what a play to bring the Hornets back into this contest. It's now 10-4 kick to come.
Yeah, that was all class. That's probably the guy we haven't really spoken about too much, is it? Young Raheda. I saw Sam Grant. I thought they took one too many plays there. He actually got to a left post, and then he pushed another play back into the middle. They set up good shape on the left, and it was a little bit of a foil because Roheda, he went to the right side, and a lot of the Mustangs thought it would go to young Weaver, but he just showed the ball out in front and took off, and he was gone, and that's a great try, and they hit back 10-4.
And that was right on his 20-metre line, so they brought it in, and he had to weave it. It wasn't a straight pursuit for Jackson Roheda. He had to kind of go in and then back out again, and that's not the... Well, you might probably see that from a 6 or 7 crossing, not so much as a 9, but that was something special.
Yeah, that was nice. He's obviously got... well, we've seen a little bit of him. He's got a little bit of class, and he's got some speed. And against his tiring Mustangs middle, I thought at the moment the middle forwards for the Mustangs are working super hard. They've been good. I think who was a big Remy Vanu, for mine, he's been the best player on the field thus far. He's been enormous in his carries. But what have we got? About 9 minutes to go. A little bit of fatigue getting into the game now. So, yeah, very good vision from the young hooker.
And Crossy, I feel that if Cudgen... Probably, if they were doing their research into this game, they would have looked at that last game against the Mustangs where they were at 36-22 with only a quarter to get it mopped up, and Bulamble got it done. So they'll know that Murwillumbah sometimes have a habit of maybe being a little bit complacent. And let's put it this way, the Mustangs can't afford to do that today. As we could see, Weaver should add the extras, and he does. Though probably not as easy as he would have liked it, but still adds the 2 points, 10-6 for the Mustangs.
And they look a different team to the team you and I called here that day a few weeks back when they played Northern United. Not too many different players, but they certainly look a more confident team with a couple of these young boys coming in. And I think that's what I touched on during the week in the podcast. That I thought they lacked a few young guys to balance their team, and now that they've got that, I can see this lifting the older guys, which youth can do.
Yeah, it certainly was. As I said, when they had about 10, they had about no less than 10 changes from when the lineup they had on the Wednesday to last Sunday, and so I think they just threw the playbook out in the bin and just went for broke, and it's paid off thus far. But then again, they're still down by 4 today. So as we get back underway here, and that they're just looking a bit more perkied up, marching that up the field. And that's never been their issue for me. As I said time and time again about the Hornets, like you got the likes of Caleb Zeeble, Connell Zeeble, Josh Saliba just marching it down. They've got the meters. They just need to turn that into points a bit more. And thus far, it showed last week, but they're showing a glimpse of it today. So this one's certainly got certainly more tales to be told in this one, Crosby.
Yeah, there is indeed. As we go left, some good short passing there. If they could have got one more pass out to Dubas, there was a real opportunity down that short side.
So this will be Jackson Roheda, the try scorer from the last set. And he'll just march. You could just see he was almost about to make a line break, and his opposite number there, Joe Bresgrove, just smashes him to the turf. So this is the last. De Groot from dummy half. That's Weaver. Long pass into Ben O'Gorman. He's got numbers on his left if he can get it out there. And De Groot's going to march for it. Had to be read well there. I think that was Dylan Smith. Could be wrong, but that could have gone anywhere for the Mustangs. They got to get them the head back on. Otherwise, it could turn ugly for the Mustangs if they don't get their heads back in the game, Crossy.
Yeah, it's real tit for tat though, isn't it? We see a really good set from the Hornets, and then good kick retreat from the Mustangs. But now the Hornets give away a penalty. I just watched closely tackle 5 there, Dwayno. Joe Besgrave was hunting Thomas Weaver really hard from the inside. They're obviously out to sort of let him know he's in a serious game here today, Weaver. I think if his back rows can have a look, there's real opportunity back on the inside there to turn someone under, and plenty of space to be had.
I think, so when you say that when Besgrove's like targeting, as you can see there, a bit of a knock-on from the Mustangs. So when you say that Besgrove's targeting Thomas Weaver, you've got to remember that Besgrove was playing under 23s, and he toured country under 23s, and he played under 20s in the end, in the youth league, in the NRRRL youth league with South, I believe.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong. I think I saw that name pop up somewhere. But with that being said, Thomas Weaver, who was playing under 16s last year, so you're kind of trying to suggest he may be putting him in his place a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's always that's a poor error.
Josh Saliba, that's not one thing he wants to remember on his 150th game. He just throws it like a discarded betting ticket.
That's a shame, and while we got in there, congratulations to Josh Lee. That's a great effort. 150 games for a club here, country footy, so well done to him. And, mate, for your sake, I hope you come away with the win today. Yeah, just saying that it's hard as a young kid coming into first grade. You do get targeted, and when you come with the raps from around the place that young Weaver does get, then opposing teams always want to leave their mark and let you know you're in a game. So that's what's happening here today.
So now the Mustang, can they make the most of that error from Josh Saliba? As we can see, one of the Mustang players is just down clutching at his head. Bit of a knock in the tackle, I dare say, but
I thought it's Cusack. I just thought, Nevin, I don't know, but I thought his leg might have got caught underneath as we had one high tackler and one went low. A bit of the old syndesmosis injury, I know nothing about anything, but to me, it just looked like one of those tackles where all the weight was falling on the lower part of the limb.
Yeah, you can just see there, if that is Liam Cusack, that's imperative. Well, that's imperative they have him out there, Crossy. He's a top try scorer from last year, and he's already scored a couple in this campaign, if you include, I think it was, he scored up the last game that they played.
Jeez, he scored some last year, didn't he?
Yeah,
Cusack?
25.
Amazing. He doesn't look flash. He's going to try to play the ball here.
And they're also missing Jack Bishop from the other wing too. So, and those boys were responsible for 2 out of 3 of the top try scorers from last year. And then Jack Bishop was a top try scorer from season 2K18. So they're going to have to, as I said time and time again after covering the Mustangs, they need to try and find, as we can see there, just a hint of a knock on, they try and have to rewrite the playbook a bit and try and not just rely on their wingers, because as you can see there's no Jack Bishop, and Liam Cusack's there, ginger on his leg, and he's not looking too flash, I can say.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he sees the game out, Cusack. He's struggling. Big Jonty Vandershaw just come on and would like another replay of his first carry. It wasn't his best, and certainly Kobe Mills let him know about it. So a little bit of fire starting to creep into this game now. 10 points to 6. We've got 3 minutes to go here, Nev. So Cudgen will be looking to get this ball downfield and see if they can get back on level terms.
And could it be a repeat from the third quarter from last week? Because they were down, I think it was 10-6 or 10-8 against Blamble. So, Cudgen will just want to try and make something similar last week, and it should sort itself out. But then again, one of our Mustangs are not giving an inch in defence thus far. So as I'll play this 30 metres away from their own line, this will be now Parker Bryant, and he's going to be brought down there from, I think it's Adam Walker. He's right here to playing from dummy half, playing the short side, floats into the hands of, that was Thomas Weaver. That's going to be Cam Roberts. So just one of the, probably just slightly forward by about half a metre. Nevertheless, it'll be a scrum feed now for the Mustangs. About somewhat, give or take, on their halfway line.
Yeah, so we're not in a great position to call that. It was a nice ball from Weaver, but did get called forward. He obviously identified that Cusack was a little bit in and also struggling with that lower leg injury. So found space on the outside there for his winger, Cameron Roberts, and touch judge right on the spot, called it back. So opportunity gone begging there for the Hornets. And now the Mustangs, with 2 minutes to go, they'll try to strike a blow before half-time.
Yeah, Crossy, I'm just taking a little snap here. So if you can't see us here, but he's got like this square cardboard box trying to block our monitor here. He's just pulling extracurricular here in the com box.
Do I get paid extra to hold this cardboard up while we commentate?
Oh, he doesn't just do his research and call the game well. He just knows how to be a good lampshade here with this big sun, tweed shy sun that's sitting right behind us here. As we can just see a slight knock on there from the Murwillumbah Mustangs, and the Hornets there should see have the last say of the ball here.
Yeah, a few errors creeping in at the back end of this first half, hasn't there? It is hot here this afternoon, and the ball's been kept in play quite a fair bit, so there's a bit of fatigue in this game. Both coaches will be keen to get half-time and press that reset button and just have a bit of a platform for the second half. They've called time off here, I feel, although the clock is running. No, he didn't call time off. My apologies.
So the Hornets will put the scrum down 30 metres away from their own line. And I can tell you something, if they can get points off this, they'll be, whilst the chances are it will probably just be even. You think Hornets will go out the better team, whilst Mustangs had the faster start.
seconds in, go.
Mustangs. I feel for me, Crossy, knowing that, I don't think they can really afford to let the Hornets in here. It'd just be more of a momentum thing. If they watched anything of what happened last week and what I saw last week, you'd think Hornets would take the advantage. Where for me, I don't think, I think for me, the Mustangs have been the better team thus far.
Yeah, no, that's probably a fair call, mate. I'm just interested to see if they have a little trick shot here with sort of 15 seconds to go.
So they'll go into the hands of, that's Miles Donnelly. He'll be brought down there 40 metres away from the Hornets line. This is Rohita, floats it into Thomas Weaver. Nice little kick over the Mustangs' heads. And Sam Grant tried to get his hands on it, but it's just going to go forward. And that's a wrap for the first half here at Kingscliff. So, Crossy, so knowing what we just know now, do you reckon the Hornets, do they just play a bit more like they did last week? Just looking for the line breaks, getting into the hands of Weaver and Jalen DeGroot a bit more? Or do you feel they just try something different? As Mustangs there, they've showed defensively that they're holding up thus far, with only letting in the one try. But for me, I think the Mustangs can't be complacent.
Yeah, at half time here, I think it's toss a coin territory. I think it's going to be the team who holds the footy the most and completes their sets. And as boring as that sounds, because the last 5 minutes of the game showed me that there's a few errors coming in because of fatigue. So whoever holds the ball the longest in this second half will be the best place to go on and win the game.
Trust you join the coverage here on the Mark Off Media YouTube page and on Facebook, wherever you may be watching around the country. It's halftime here at Nedburn over on Kingscliff. It's Murwillumbah Mustangs 10, the Cudgen Hornets 6. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Whether you're suffering from a common cold, have a more advanced breathing problem like asthma, or want to boost your sports performance, improving your breathing can help. Air Physio is helping people breathe easier.
First grade games have you played? How old are you now? And I felt then you competent. I was like, nice, he's just over there, mate. Yeah, I felt like just saying, mate, how many first grade games have you played? How old are you? Well, I'm still playing at your age. What are you, a pussy? That's what I felt like saying. They're not really your attention, though. You just smurf. That hurts you more. Yeah, I was happy with that challenge there. Yeah, I thought it was going for the ball. I like it, but sometimes their mates start giving them shit then because you got over the top of him. I was happy with that. See, I was just double checking. If he's wrapped his arms, he's grabbed onto him and stopped him from chasing off the ball on the ground, and totally different. That's why I come in here. That's what I'm doing. I thought he did so, but I was following. Just going to the loo. Bloody light for the pisser. Fuck. Don't look like I'm going to the toilet. Mate. Bloody light. Yeah, maybe I'll have to. I did want to go to the toilet, the fucking line up.
So you got the double. Did you really? How was that?
That's not going to happen. It just says a lineup when you go to the loo. What's that? Because I haven't well, all he can do, he's reported to the ref. He should have called one of us in, but it doesn't matter. But he's reported to the ref. It's up to him to continue it.
Well, he said he wanted it on report, so I put it on report then.
Yeah, right.
So doesn't he have to come to me after the game too to say?
No, he's got to put in a report about it. That's it. He's got to go home, write a report, and send it. Because all you've got to do is just put that he's reported it at what time of the game, where it happened, and that's it.
All right, I'll put a report and say alleged number 9.
Whether you're suffering from a common cold, have a more advanced breathing problem like asthma, or want to boost your sports performance, improving your breathing can help. Air Physio is helping people
Dwayne Neville and Nathan Cross coming to you live from Ned Burn Oval in Kingscliff for round 1 of the Northern Conference of the NRRRL season for season 2020. And of course, we're being sponsored here by Cudgen Leagues Club and as well as Air Physio. And it's been tit for tat on both sides of the fence here. Cudgen probably had the better of the second portion of the first half, but 10-6, Murwillumbah just with their noses in front. Crossy, what's the keys to victory for either team here today?
Yeah, mate, I touched on it just before the break. Both teams, just toward the back end of that first half, a few errors started creeping in. So I just feel that now that there is a little bit of fatigue in this game, it's been a good contest. So both teams need to really have a strong emphasis on completing their sets, keeping the ball in play, and just when they get the good ball, really make the most of their opportunities. So I'll be keen to. I don't know which team that'll be, Nev, but whoever it is should win here today.
And it's proven to be an absolute cracker as we've predicted it may be. So this is Miles Donnelly playing at 40 metres away from his own line. Big long kick there from Thomas Weaver. Look at the spiral on that cross. He just planted it right 12 metres away from the Mustangs line. And that was well defended there by the likes of Parker Bryant. So this will be taken up from Adam Walker on the second phase. Brought down there from Miles Donnelly. 25 metres away from their own line, the Mustangs. This will be played up here by, I think that's Luke's. So Besgrove, third phase, marches it up there from Bailey Crompton. Would like to get a double today, but he's going to be brought down there 45 metres away from his own line. This is the last. So playing the short side, the Mustangs. Nice long kick there from Phil Ramage. And should be met there by Joe DeGroot. He'll go for a gallop, and he's going to be brought down there about 15 metres away from his own line there, Crossy.
Yeah, good positional play there from young DeGroot. We mentioned at the top he's a prefers fullback, but he has been playing on the wing here for the Hornets. But yeah, showed his true colours there. Was right in the spot for the left foot kick of Ramage.
And a nice tackle there from Joe Besgrove on Caleb Zeeble. They play the short side. Oh, that was Jackson Rahir getting blindsided, but managed to get in the hands of Miles Donnelly. This is the fourth phase short side. No, that's going to be Thomas Weaver. Thought about passing it, just glides out across the carpet into the hands of the Mustangs. And they're going to be held there 20 metres away, 5 inside field. Besgrove's appealing for a penalty, won't get it. Marches up there from Adam Walker, and he's crunched in there from Miles Donnelly as well as Cam Roberts.
That's a great shot from Roberts.
So this is going to be taken up here. That's, I think that was Dylan Smith. Could be wrong. That's going to be brought up there from Bailey Cox, and he's going to be brought down there from Cam Roberts. And
Roberts is on a mission, isn't he? He's getting his tackle count up, coming off the wing. Now he's going to have to focus on sort of getting back and getting in position. Good shot.
So that's Dan Butterini just wearing that That Cudgen Hornets turf. This is going to be Basgrove playing the short side. Nice long kick there from Phil Ramage. Should find the corner. And the group's going to have to do well to mop this up, but it's just going to have too much power, and it'll be a scrum feed for the Hornets, somewhere about 15 metres away from their own line.
Yeah, it just showed his experience there. Phil Ramage has been a good player for a long time, and steering the ship there and steadying the ship for them, which was important after a couple of really good defensive efforts there from Roberts. And I must say, Nev, young Jackson Roheda, he looks really sharp out of 9. He's actually, we talk about, Zeeble, and we talk about young Weaver and Sammy Grant on their left edge, but mate, today he's been the one that's looked sort of most threatening off the back of some good yardage and a quick play the ball.
And if you just join us, Mustangs just with their nose in front, 10-6 here at the start of the second half. Cross, we've been calling for a while to say if you're going to be doing a close game or not. Today could be the day, finally.
I'm sorry, mate, what was that?
We always say in previous broadcasts how you've never done a close game before. Today could be certainly shaping up to be that.
Oh, how good would that be? I think I don't think I've ever called one. So
they've all been pretty one-siders, and no doubt. And so
yeah, most teams aren't happy to see me walk through the gates. They know they're either going to lose well or win well. Yeah.
Well, it depends who it is. It depends who we're dealing with. So that's Jackson Morehead. Thought about the line break. He's just going to be dragged down by his opposite number there, Joe Basgrove. They play the short side. Weaver sends that one up nice and high. And should be collected there from, I think that's Liam Cusack. So that right leg for me is holding up not too badly.
Mate, that's the third kick retreat he's just had to do in his second half, and he's been up to the task each time. He looks okay.
Oh, but that being said, he's starting to just clutch at the right leg a bit there, but well, at least doesn't look as serious as we first thought. So this is going to be Bailey Crompton marches that one up about 35 metres away from the Mustangs line. Going to be brought up there. That's Cade Hill. Floats it into Rob Shepherd. That's gone into Thomas Vickery. He's looking for the line break. Couldn't quite meet the clutches there of Luke DeMar as well as Connor Mills. So this is Callum Nichols here playing it from dummy half. Floats the pass into, I think that's Cade Hill back into the hands. I think that's Johnny Venishaw, and he's going to take about no less than 3 or 4 players to bring him down. Well tackled there from Miles Donnelly. Besgrove once again frustrated, not getting the penalty. Big high kick there from Cade Hill. That's got snow on it there, Crossy. And even beats the head of Jalen de Groot. Well taken off their own kick there, the Mustangs. And we'll see what the referee calls here.
I think he's going to rule changeover. Nev, that was one of the Anthony Milford inside-out torpedo bombs. Speaking from experience, they are a nightmare to catch as a fullback. And de Groot thought he had it covered, and then it got away on him late. And in the end, the Hornets were lucky enough to be able to wrap up the Mustangs player and force a turnover. As we said, the Mustangs give away an easy penalty.
Now, Crossy, as we made mention, Thomas Weaver playing his second game, and do you think they could throw Jalen de Groot in the book with that too? When fullback just putting up those real high bombs, which has got bit of snow coming down up from it. I mean, no sign of snow today, but some 24, 25 degrees in Kingscliff. But you feel that maybe they're just trying to pressure him a bit with those higher kicks.
Mate, absolutely, and so they should. It's a real. Oh, he's away.
There's a groove. Flick pass going into the hands. I think that's gone into. That is Ben O'Gorman. You give him all that space from his 40-metre line. He'll score just about every time in the corner. It's now advantage Hornets.
Oh, we just spoke about that, man. It was Jalen de Groot. That was absolute class from de Groot. He ran a really good sweep line or a tail line out the back, and then he straightened up, and he could see the outside. It was either the centre or the winger come in on him. So he popped up a beautiful pass to Ben O'Gorman, and he showed a clean pair of heels to run a good 30, 40 metres to the line untouched. And off the back of a Mustangs penalty coming out of yardage, the Hornets, they found touch, and they went down that right edge. And it was a great try from O'Gorman.
So Ben O'Gorman, as I've said time and time again, the last couple of games that we were involved with the Cudgen Hornets, they really missed him last year, and now he's done the business and put Hornets at 10-all with the Mustangs, kick to come. And I'll tell you what, Crossy, with this breeze and with this sun just right behind us, even Thomas Weaver's going to have to do well to send this one over to get the lead.
Matty will. It'll be interesting to see where he starts his kick to utilise this breeze. But we said at half-time, and I think we said it just after half-time, was this game's real tit for tat. And just prior to that, the Mustangs really, there's a good contest going on here on this right edge with Caleb Nichols, and as we'll just see, Weaver.
So he's got the distance. Is it going to get over? Oh, that was never in doubt from Thomas Weaver. You can just see why he's one of the special up-and-coming players, and that is just about in every notebook between every in-trust super club, if not the Gold Coast Titans. 12-10. Am I right with that assessment there, Crossy?
Yeah, he's a very sweet striker of the football, Tommy Weaver. I was just going to say, Nev, there's a really good contest going on out here with Tom Vickery and Luke Dumas in the centres, and Caleb Nichols is outside Vickery, and Connor Mills with Lukey Dumas. There's a good contest. It's probably even money at the moment as to who's winning that, but I'd like to see that continue.
So now you just feel now the advantage is just gone into the Cudgen Hornets column. The Mustangs will have to try and break this momentum, because we saw here at this point of the game 7 days ago against the Jets, this is when the Hornets, despite being down by a couple of points, really took the game out of the Jets' hands. And the Mustangs, no doubt they'll know it, because they'll have to be on their guard in defence, and so far they have been. And you could just see it now. They're always infused. You can just see Caleb Zeeble just marching that probably 10 metres more than what he intended to. But you just see this is very similar to how it was against the Jets. What they just get looking at more infused, and they know they could just take this game and just out of the grip of the Mustangs right here, Crossy.
Absolutely. This is a great set after points. This is exactly what their coach Mark O'Grady would be looking for. It was a great carry from Big Parker Bryant, tackle one, and then Caleb Zeeble ran for about 20 metres, although I've just put the heck on him. That'll be tackle 5 there. Poor end of the set. They'll need a good kick.
So that's me, Miles Donnelly for playing from dummy half. Kick goes over the heads. Should get into the hands there of Dylan Smith, and he'll go for a gallop and just puts a bit of a don't argue into the chest of Sam Grant. So this will be now Cade Hill playing from dummy half. Floats it into the hands of Caleb Nichols. He brings it centre of field, and he does well, but not quite getting out of the grip of Miles Donnelly. And so that's just going to slow the momentum just a little tad there for the Mustangs. So nice floating pass from Phil Ramage. Got into Adam Walker. He's blindsided, but manages to get the offload into Liam Cusack. Just still holding his own there, Cusack. So this will be now the third phase. Throws into Ramage. Throws into Dion Banchetti. And I think the Mustangs are just they're not making the yards that they want to, despite being on their own 40. They want to try and get a line break and just get the grip back into this game, because right now Cudgen Hornets, they have their tails up. And as I made mention just about some couple of minutes ago, they're just looking all that more infused. This is the last. They play the short side. And more. Float pass into Liam Cusack. And they back it into the hands of Dylan Smith. They're just marching it. Can they get some points? And then I think Dylan Smith might have just got that one down. And that is the circuit breaker that the Mustangs needed. And they'll get themselves back in front, 14-12.
Oh, what a hit back from the Mustangs. There was not much doing, really. It was a great long ball from Ramage. And unfortunately for the Hornets, Cameron Roberts, he sort of got caught in again. I touched on it in the first half in this bottom right-hand corner. Cusack sort of got on the outside of him. Well, it was a nice ball from Ramage, and it happened again. Roberts got caught in, and then Cusack went down that left-hand touchline, turned it back in, found Dylan Smith, and he found himself over to push them back out in front now. This game, as I've said 2 or 3 times now, is really tit for tat. And in the fair income stage, Dwayne, it's whoever can control this ball and complete their sets the best is going to be the victor here today.
So the Mustangs will be imperative here to, despite making that circuit breaker, will be looking to add the extras. And it'll be interesting to see how the Cudgen Hornets respond after that. As I said, there was maybe just the Mustangs just doing that extra bit of curriculum when it comes to their homework, because they've had the week off and they've just would have studied that game against the Hornets last week, knowing that they just basically stole that game against the Jets in just one quarter of football. But nevertheless, Phil Ramage, nice long kick, adds the extra. 16-12 for the Mustangs over the Hornets here at Kingscliff. Trust you join the coverage here on Mark Goff Media.
Yeah, we're really fortunate here this Arvo, Dwayne. We've got 2 or 3 or 4 really good playmakers. Both sets of halves here. We've got Sam Grant. He'd be, what would Sammy be now? 23, 24. He's been through the Titans under-20 system, Queensland Cup system at Burleigh. Tommy Weaver we've spoken about. Cade Hill, he's been through that Tweedhead Seagulls, Mount Meninga Cup system. that of course won the national championship. And Phil Ramage, I mean, he's done it all, played plenty of Queensland Cup, played in France, and he's that experienced head out there for the Mustangs. So for the viewers at home and everyone here today, it's a real treat to watch both sets of halves sort of turn it on.
So Joe Bradsgrove, he goes from dummy half, he just gets ragdolled, manages to offload it. And Cudgen Hornets, they just don't want to show any ill discipline here and concede a penalty. They've still got much to say in this game if they can. With that being said, though, the Mustangs, they want to try and get the line break and just get that cushion just a bit more cushier. So, no pun intended. So that's going to be Cade Hill. Floats it into Rob Shepherd. He had Thomas Vickery on his right there, but he's opted to go himself. And probably now he wish he had got into the hands of Tom Vickery there, Crossy.
Well, this is the problem, mate. You know, again, errors for both sides. Like, if the Mustangs there could just get to a tram line as they were trying to, play the ball, get to their kick, all of a sudden the Hornets are under pressure.
So that's Thomas Weaver. Oh, thought about a line break, but just couldn't quite get the feet off the green quick enough. So this will be Jalen DeGroot playing it from dummy half. Short side into the hands of Parker Bryant. He's Northern Rivers Titans teammate. And you could just feel, can the Hornets, they could just get this momentum back, which they had about 5 minutes ago. Rahida thought about getting it off, but just going to cop the tackle there about 18 metres away from the Mustangs line. This had really been tit for tat. This has been quite the contest. Probably one of the better contests in this interrupted season we've had thus far. So I think that's Josh Saliba there, 15 metres away. Fourth phase. This is going to be played by Sam Grant. Pass was probably not an ideal one. That's Jalen DeGroot. He knows how to make a line break, but he's still going, Jalen DeGroot. He does well to get about an extra 10 metres there. This is the last 5 out, going into the hands of Parker Bryant. He's just ever so close, and that was well defended there for the Mustangs. Parker Bryant was about to try and glide it across the turf, and that could almost be a momentum killer for the Hornets there. They're just so close, but the Mustangs just were ready for it.
And it's these young guys for the Hornets that I'm so excited about. Young Parker Bryant, let's not forget here, Dwayne, he's a middle forward playing front row. He's a 17-year-old kid. It's not like he's, Tommy Weaver's on the edge or he's playing on the wing. Parker Bryant's playing in the toughest part of the field, the middle of the field against his big pack, and he's been outstanding here this afternoon. And while I'm on these young kids, DeGroot, that was a great run down that right edge. It looked like he was tackled, then he got up, he was probing, he was weaving, and then he nearly got there.
And speaking about youth, Bailey Cox is just about to come onto the paddock.
Well, he's another one, isn't he? He's sort of a 17 or 18-year-old kid, as is young Butterini from the Mustangs. So well done to both clubs here. We're seeing the blooding of a few young stars for both clubs. And
so that's first time of asking. Bailey Cox just mashes that one 40 metres away. Besgrove floats it. That's gone into Johnny Vandershaw, and he'll be held there just about centre of field, about 45 metres away from their own line, the Mustangs. Besgrove into the hands of Dion Banchetti, and he's going to be brought down there by his opposite number. This is Besgrove. Floats it into the hands of Cade Hill. Cut out pass. That's gone into Thomas Vickery, and he's been desperate to get that line break, but he manages to get it into the hands of Robbie Shepherd. And so we're about 35 odd metres away now from the Hornets line. This is the fourth phase. Could this really interrupt this good momentum, this honeymoon period that the Hornets have been having? So Besgrove, short side, this is the last. This is Cade Hill. Kicks it to his left side. There was Chasers there. And just caught off the dead ball line there, Joe Besgrove.
That was a near miss for the Hornets. Obviously, we're a fair way away from that. We don't know how far dead that did go when Besgrove dived, but it was all in vain. So now it'll be the Hornets 20 metres out from their own line, having to truck it out of the backfield and try to get to their kick and put the pressure back on the Mustangs.
So this is going to be played. That's gone well tackled there from, I think that's Johnny Vandershaw. That's Weaver. Weaver thought about it. Then again, you guys kind of think they're caught in two minds a bit there, Crossy. That's Jalen DeGroot. He goes from dummy half and he's just caught off the feet there, 40 metres away from their own line. This is Miles Donnelly. He manages to get the line break. He's got about 2 to beat. He's just short on numbers though, Crossy. Yeah, I think Miles Donnelly gets that pass another half a second quicker. But they're going to get a penalty out of it. Second best outcome, but Miles Donnelly, if he gets that pass away about second or half a second quicker even, could be a different result.
Well, he carved him up the middle, didn't he? And he was stepping and weaving and looking for support. It was a skipper, Sam Grant, that loomed up in support. And then it was a one-on-one tackle. The referee ruled that it was stripped one-on-one, so it was a knock-on against Murwillumbah. A couple of their players didn't like it, so it was a penalty. I might just listen to the referee here. And I think they're just waiting for football, are they, Nev?
Yeah. So this will be now Jackson Rahida. So a full set of 6 in tow, about 5 metres away from the Mustangs line. This is going to be Weaver. Miles Donnelly, he's going to be brought there, just smack bang on the 10. So this will be Jackson Rahida. Right into that, I think that's Tim James. He's come back on for a second stint. And he's not giving up. Can he get over there, Tim James? He's not going to, he might have just got that down, Tim James! So you'll see the most stubborn attack of the year, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to look pretty on the scoreboard for Cudgen Hornets, but wow, about 4 or 5 players. Tim James. And that's going to be one for the scrap book for Tim James. It's just like, he was only moved about 2 metres, but he just plonks on down. It probably didn't look pretty, but it still looks pretty on the scoreboard, Crossy. So that's going to be 16-14. Sorry, 16 all, and potentially take it back in front.
Oh, well done to Tim James. That was a great run. His first stint was really good, and we mentioned it at the top, and then he's come back on for his second stint. He got the ball, and it reminded me, I rewound the clock back to 1989 when Steve Jackson scored that now famous try for the Canberra Raiders. He got the ball, and he thought he'd be tackled here, and they thought he was tackled there, and he just kept pumping the legs. And that was Tim James here this afternoon. Fast forward to 2020, and we've got our Steve Jackson on in the field in the form of number 20, Tim James. What a great try.
1989, Crossy. Yeah, I wasn't even learning my ABCs in 1989.
Mate, it was one of the it's one of the most famous grand finals of all time in many's eyes. And Steve Jackson, he lived around here for a long time.
So it's Thomas Weaver, adds the extras, easy as you like. Hornets now back with their nose in front, 18-16, and we're about to finish up in the third quarter. This has been quite the contest as we predicted, Crossy, at the very start. But that's what we say about that 1989 grand final. I know it all too well because, brother, being a Tigers supporter, I hear it time and time again. That was the unlosable game for the Tigers, no doubt. And then, yeah, the rest was history.
Yeah, it was the game at half time that they thought they had, wasn't it? And mate, I'm not a Tigers fan or a Raiders fan, so it makes no difference to me, but it was just one of the great grand finals of all time, wasn't it? And when big Tim James got that ball then and they couldn't put him down, it just took me back. It reminded me of it. So good on him. We're game on here. This will be a really good last quarter.
Trust you join the coverage here on Mark Goth Media, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Of course, we're proudly sponsored by the Cudgen Leagues Club as well as Air Physio. As the sun just goes down here, Crossy, we're probably, it was 25 degrees when we came in here now. You'd probably be beginning to think it's something like now 17, 18. It's just getting all that a bit eerie here in the Tweed Shire.
And I'm searching for that jumper shortly. I think I did pack it, thinking this may happen, and it now has. So no excuses for either team in this fourth quarter. Conditions now nice and cool. Breeze has dropped slightly, and looking to register the first win of the season in this newly formed Northern Conference Round 1 here at Nedburn Field this afternoon. Let's hope, Nev, we can actually get some footy moving forward here. We've touched on, we don't want to dwell on it, the political side of things with these border issues that we have, and any more sort of border closures or whatever could really be to the detriment of local footy here. So let's enjoy what we've got here this afternoon and cross fingers that we can continue.
I know, and all I'll say is that I know that footy, it's just one of the part of the things we're fortunate to even have a part of, because we might not even have a season and this, that and the other, but I feel for me, on the jerseys, on the left on crest there, it says New South Wales Rugby League. I just would not like to see a Queensland decision be brought by New South Wales, my opinion. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, we've all got livelihoods. We've all got, and that's obviously got to come first. So hopefully, if anything more was to happen, that we can still march on We're thankful here thus far in the Northern Rivers we've been somewhat COVID-free. That could always change, but we're hoping that we can just move on. The players want it. I said that in the podcast the other night. The players want it. I'm sure we can just get this through in the next couple of months or whatever, how long it's going to take, and then plan for it better next year.
Yeah, well said, mate. And if you had to back a winner here this afternoon with 20 minutes to go, who's your money on?
Oh, mate, you're putting me on the spot. Maybe I need to be paid extra. Crossy trying to figure who's going to win this. Look, I feel that Mustangs. I feel like Cudgen have just. I just feel that last quarter they've wanted it more, and you just see that last try with Tim James. I just feel that they've got the line breaks in them, and I just feel that what concerns me for the Mustangs is how they finish their games, and they've shown that the last couple of games against the Raiders as well as Blamble. As I said, 36-22 in the final quarter. So, with that being said, though, with Hornets with the momentum they had, they probably would have liked more points. And there's only 2 points. So anyway, strap yourselves in. Next 20 minutes will definitely be a barn burner. As you can just see there, the man himself, Tim James, marches that one up. And you can just see the Hornets. I feel even if the Hornets score the next try, that could be enough, Crossy. Just the way they're marching that up the field. They just mash that. That's Caleb Zeeble. He's getting himself the line break. He's got Charles DeGroot on his line. What a good hip tackle around their hips there. I think that was Dylan Smith. He just took Caleb Zeeble off his line. So this is going to be, I think that's going to be Luke Damar now. Just gets it over the 10. They're just meters away now, the Hornets. And this will be on the fourth phase. This is going to be Jackson Mohita. Floats it into Sam Grant. That's Thomas Weaver. They're getting it through. They're looking. That's better. Gorman getting a double in the corner. And you can just see the body language of the Mustangs now, Crossy. They just might elude him today. And I think the Hornets just wanted that more. Benno Gorman gets himself a double, making it 22-16.
Yeah, well done to the Hornets. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Nev, in relation to the Hornets wanting it more. And they showed so much intent in that set of six just then. The run of Caleb Zeeble, I thought he'd bombed it. He had DeGroot looming up on his right-hand side on the inside. He tried to run straight over the top of the fullback Smith, who, as you said, did a great job on him. But then a long ball from Sam Grant found an early ball there to Lukey Dumas, and that was right in front of us. We saw the class and the skill and the strength of Dumas. He beat 3 or 4 players, quick play the ball, then they went pass, and it found on the right edge in Benno Gorman, and he got his double. And now that's an early warning shot, 22-16 with a kick to come. The Mustangs, they'll have to rally.
So Thomas Weaver now will kick this 25 metres away from his own line in a similar position where he slotted a perfect one before. This time not much breeze, and the sun doesn't have to contend with that sun that we've been dealing with for the first 3 quarters. So with that being said, it's still going to be a very difficult kick, and then you want to try just break that buffer zone ever so more so for the Hornets.
Let's see if he lands his kick, Weaver. He does strike them well.
Nice long kick from Weaver. Oh, it's just eluded him this time, so we're still... Yeah. So Crossy, you have got your fan club, especially in this bubble, I dare say. That hasn't eluded you.
No, it's good. It's good to see some true rugby league people walking past saying good day. It's great. So good to see everyone here again.
That being said, 22-16, it remains Hornets just with their nose in front. Now, I don't feel like, I thought for me they looked like they were going to go for the short kickoff. I don't think Mustangs need to do that just as yet. So, but with that being said, though, you think with 17 and change left, they're going to need to get the next try.
I'll tell you what they do well, Dwayne. They score points quickly, the Mustangs, and they can score it from anywhere. We've seen a couple of their tries today. Not much doing, just a bit of class from either Ramage or a Cade Hill or someone like that, or a Vickery. So they've got it in them. Here's a good carry from Zeeble. This is the set the Hornets wanted after points. Here's Roheda. Here we go.
There's Jansen. Jalen DeGroot gets it over the 20. He's got just his opposite number to beat. Well read. In attack from Jalen DeGroot. He had just a slim defensive line break to bake, and he just dives it over. And in his second game is scoring back-to-back tries. And just did that off the 20, and now they could almost be thank you, good night for the Mustangs. They're just looking like they wanted that more, Crossy, 26-16.
Oh, that was pretty to watch, and I think the best player here today has been the 9 for the Hornets. Young Jackson Roheda. He has been asking questions of the defensive line every time he jumps out of dummy half. And young Jalen de Groot, I haven't seen much of him, Nev, I'll be honest. A little bit through some vision, doing some stuff with the Titans. Not a lot much more, but the way he moves and glides around that field, it's a pleasure to watch.
And he he broke that defensive line like threaded through the eye of a needle. It's just, you feel that Dylan Smith basically had him covered, but it was like it was closing in on him, but he just still found a way to get through. And he just does that so well week in, week out. And how's that? So scoring in his first 2 games.
Yeah, what a great try from de Groot. Pretty to watch. And now Weaver, he'll have a chance to sort of push this lead out by 10 points.
So it's 10 points at the present. So it'll be up to 12. We shouldn't have too many problems with this one, Thomas Weaver. And that was easy like. It was just chewing up the clock as we complete. It was about 15 minutes and change here. 28-16, and Cudgen is really starting to make... Well, let's put it this way. Trying to find form at the right time. As I said, they lost their first 2 games, changed their back line, and as I said, the point scores have been reset. So they've probably been the beneficiaries out of this whole reset of the competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they've gone the short kick off the Mustangs. They're going to have to try and find something out of this, and it's not going to go well from that kick. So it's should be now. I don't know if it's gone short. Now it's just going to be called knock on. So it'll be a 40-metre scrum feed off their own line for the Cudgen Hornets.
Okay, didn't go to plan there for the Mustangs. So they'll 14 minutes to go, still within reach. Like I said earlier, they do score points quickly, and they will chance their arm, and they've got some players who can go the length. So they're still in this game, and the Hornets will have to make sure that they just get through their set here and just get to their kick and force some pressure through their defence.
So this is now going to be played. There's but another potential line break there from the Hornets. I just think that the Hornets are trying to make the defence from the Mustangs honest here, Crossy, because they're just playing for that back line, and they're only just making those tackles off the second phase. So, in other words, the gaps are just looking a little bit wider for the Mustangs than what I feel they need to be. So that's I think that's one of the Zeeble boys. I couldn't quite make out the number. That's Caleb Zeeble. Sorry, Connor Zeeble. So there's going to be play at the back there from Roheda. And let's see what the Mustangs could do 20 metres away from their own line here, Crossy. As I said, 2 tries, they could still try and pull this one away. Or try and bring it back in, but I dare say that they're going to have to start getting something in the next 13 minutes, or it could be good night.
Well, I think their joy today has been on their left edge, going to early ball to Adam Walker and having Cusack outside him and trying to get sort of Cameron Roberts to turn in and create that overlap. So I would expect them to do that as they march down the field.
So that was Robert Shepard from the back of the scrum. That's going up there. I think that was Phil. So this is Phil Ramage now from dummy half. That's gone in. Well tackled there from. That was Caleb Zeeble. So they're about 30 metres away from their line, the Mustangs. That's gone up from Dan Butterini, and he's going to be blindsided there from Jackson Roheda. And so the referee's just called time here. Just a bit of a momentum breaker there for the Mustangs. And so that looks like one of the players there clutching in his arm now, I can see, Crossy.
Yeah, hard to make out who's down at the moment. So
that was Dan Butterini.
He's tried hard, young Butterini,
Yeah.
much again like Parker Bryant, young guy playing through the middle in an A-grade side, so well done to him.
So this will be now Dan Butterini to play at about 35 metres away from his own line. They'll get it through the hands, Bailey Cox. And he'll just be brought down. This will be now Besgrove. And so that's sort of undoing the good hard work that the Hornets have done thus far. Just conceded a penalty. And Mustangs should have this in favourable position to try and get themselves back into this game. But that being said, we're about 11 minutes and change. If you think they're going to have to make the most of it in a play like this one. So this Bailey Crompton marches that one, does well. Just Well, they're about some 25 odd metres away now from the Hornets line. This is Besgrove, puts it into Bailey Cox, and he's just going to be brought down there. They're just getting on the 10 now. There's about four phases left. This is Besgrove. Cade Hill brings it into the hands of Thomas Vickery, brings it to the left side. He's been so desperate to get that line break, and they're just glued onto him all game, the Cudgen Hornets. This has now gone into the hands of Dion Banchetti. Thought about the offload, but I think he's just going to cop the tackle sweet. Just short of the line. Hornets can't afford to be complacent here. Again, Besgrove into the hands of Cade Hill. Long floating pass. There's Vickery. Right, trying to bring it inside field.
I think they're in.
I think the Mustangs might have just gone in here. We couldn't quite see it in our monitors here.
Well, it looked like, we're blocked by the tents, as you'll all see on the screen, as is sort of the cameraman, but it was that nice outball there to Thomas Vickery.
Yeah, so Thomas Vickery finally got that line break, and he's got the Mustangs back into this game at 28-20.
And that's that contest I mentioned, isn't it? Him and Dumas, they've been at each other all day. It's been a pleasure to watch, and on that occasion, Vickery got the better. I think again, we don't know because we couldn't see it, but I think he went to Cusack, and then the ball may have come back in from Cusack to Vickery, but nevertheless, it's a try to Vickery with a kick to come, and 9 minutes on the clock, Dwayne. So we are game on here.
And you're seeing it here on Markoff Media on the YouTube and Facebook pages, proudly sponsored by the Cudgen League Club as well as Air Physio. And so Joe Besgrove, he'll be taking the kick, won't he, Crossy? You're getting some love on the field there too, Crossy.
Who was it? Nice. It was Caleb Nichols.
Caleb Nichols.
I actually said Cusack in the call. Caleb Nichols will be into me for that one. That was a nice play from Nichols. Great young kid. Coached him at Tweed last year, and good to see him playing local A grade here.
So I think the kick was unsuccessful there. So still away from a one converted try lead for the Hornets. So 28-20 with about. We're just about to approach the 72nd minute mark. So they're going to still have to do it, get over the line twice cross if they're going to steal this one.
They will, but it's in them, isn't it? We know it's in them, and Cudgen have got to be on red alert here with their defence.
So this will be sent down there by Sam Grant off the kick-off. And let's see what the Mustangs can do here. Bailey Cox. Oh, no. Oh, he just got blindsided. He fell into the tackle for me, though, Crossy. He was just going gun-ho. I thought for me he just kind of lost his footing a bit, but the referee nevertheless is calling a penalty anyways.
No, mate, that's exactly what happened. That's a real stiff penalty. He slipped into it, and I feel there for the Hornets. But again, they're the cards they've been dealt. That's how their response is to that bit of a setback will determine how they go here.
So that's Bailey Crompton just getting mashed. Does well just to bring it onto the halfway line. So Bailey Cox goes take two for Bailey Cox. Manages to offload it this time. Gets it off to Besgrove playing the short side. And they're flying at some 45 metres away now from the Hornets line. This will be now Dylan Smith. Well floated. Bailey Cox, he's getting involved in every attacking play this set of six. He's just not missing a beat. So Besgrove, you can just look, he looks so frustrated and just want to get been appealing all game for that penalty. That's a nice gliding kick there from Phil Ramage into the corner. And they might have even stole this one back, the Mustangs. Be interested to see what the referee calls here. He's called, I think, a penalty against the Mustangs for offside in front of the kicker, Crossy.
Gee, that was a near thing, wasn't it? Near miss for the Mustangs and a super close call for the Hornets. Phil Ramage, he went deep into the line, put a beautiful left foot kick in, and you thought for your life Walker or Cusack was going to pick it up the way this game's gone today, but wasn't to be on that occasion. Referee ruling it was a penalty. And expect to see here, Nev, the Mustangs really ramp this up in defence and try to force an error.
And you can probably just see on the scoreboard there, it's 28-20. Cudgen just with their noses in front. And 6 minutes and 47 seconds left. The Hornets, they'll just, one more try will most certainly put it to bed. 8 points is not impossible, Crosby. I've said that time and time again.
No, mate, definitely not. And again, with 6 minutes to go, I mean, if they get one, they can easily get two. They'll be looking to force an error here.
So this is now going to be taken up from Connor Zeeble, some 45 metres away from his own line. You can just see there Connor Zeeble just having a bit of a laugh there when going to play the ball. So this is going to be they're not giving it an inch though. Like the Mustangs are still holding it tight in defence, but they just need to make sure they don't concede any more points from this portion of the game. So Tim James plays it, floats it from Rahida. They're looking out for that line break. Miles Donnelly knows how to do it, but it's going to be called forward. So Mustangs, with about just under 6 minutes now, they want to make the most of this error.
Well, they live or die by the sword, the Hornets, don't they? Caleb Zeeble, the skillful man that he is, we're not in a great position here, but I must admit the way his hands went, it did appear to sort of be flat at best or forward. So that opens the door now for the Mustangs. Scrum, centre field on halfway. This is a great attacking opportunity.
So I think what's been doing for the Mustangs, you'll probably just see here, it's just they're just keen to get on with it, but they're just slowed down by we're just playing the ball, just something like their attacking line, like the Cudgen defensive line, not standing fast or whatnot. They just want to get on with it, but they just seem to get halted every time they do, and that just gives the Hornets an extra 10-15 seconds to just set up their defensive line and get ready. But nevertheless, this will be taken up from Dion Banchetti. He's going to be brought down there from Miles Donnelly. Probably been one of the busiest players on the field today, Miles Donnelly. This is Bailey Cox. Well, I dare say the bloke who just had it then, Bailey Cox, ever since he came on some halfway through the third quarter, he's probably been the busiest player. And I think that's going to be a penalty for the Mustangs. So this will be, they just need to get on with it, Crossy. 4 minutes and change left. They can't, so once again, no fault of their own. Jackson Rahida clutching there, but the Mustangs, they just want to keep moving forward and keeping busy, but with little stoppages like that, it's certainly not helping.
Well, I noticed, Nev, the referee ruled time off at 4 minutes 31 seconds. Clock's still ticking down, so I don't know.
Now, I don't think they have time off.
No, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if there is time off as such. The Mustangs will need to either score in this set of six or get a repeat set. Otherwise, it's game, set, and match for them today. Let's see where they go. Expect them to get to the middle of the field and then get to their left edge.
So this is now the first time I've asked him for Adam Walker. He managed, so close to getting the line break. And I think that was just a bit of panic there from Adam Walker.
I think it's off Roberts. I think this will be a Mustangs feed here.
So, and you can just see here, they're looking urgent. They know that time's not on their side at the present. So they just want to get that scrum down and but then again, I don't think they need to get to the point where they need to start throwing around on the first phase either.
No, they've got to score 3 minutes 20 here. They've got to score twice, as we know. They need to get over the first 2 or 3 plays.
So it's played from the back of the scrum there. That's Cade Hill. Floats it in the hands of Caleb Nichols. Goes himself. He's done well to get the yardage, Caleb Nichols, but he's just going to be brought down there some 5 metres away from the Hornets line. Besgrove floats it into, I think that's Josh Campbell. So this is Besgrove. Floats it into Bailey Cox. Nice little hit spin. That's Cox again. Brings it inside field. I think that's Nichols. Sorry, that's now gone into Dan Turtland. And he's going to be just short, a couple of metres away from the Hornets line. This is now or never now for the Mustangs. They need to get points off this play. And that's the exclamation mark. And now there's afters here. And it's really kicked off. I think I saw a punch being right on the mush of Miles Donnelly there, Crossy. So this is starting to break off, and you could just sense frustrations now for the Mustangs right at the end. They know it's not to be for them today.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened in the play of the ball. Obviously an error, and that'll be their day here this afternoon. They've just that couple of lapses in concentration and early in that fourth quarter, the group burst that game wide open, and I think that's going to be enough to see the Hornets home here.
And Miles Donnelly, he caught, I don't know if it was, I think it was more of a lub tap than a punch, but Miles Donnelly just getting a bit of a don't argue in the head there. So we'll see what's come out of this. So
again, mate, with no time off, as you say, this is just going to wind the clock right down to 0 and see the game done here this afternoon.
Question remains is if someone's going to go and have a... Yeah, so that looks like... Well, someone's been sent for 10, which is pretty much now irrelevant as we're now about a minute and change left.
I think that looks like Bailey Crompton. Early shower for him.
I'd put that incident on report because I'm sure a punch was thrown by one of the Murwillumbah.
I guess now this is just all now a formality. So someone... And I think Bailey Crompton has just been given an invitation for the judiciary midweek. So... nevertheless, this will now see the game done with about a minute left. I don't think Cudgen will be any rush to boot this one over either, Crossy.
No, not at all. Not at all. And expect them to, as we see Big Zeeble,
Oh,
that big right boot. Have a look at that kick.
that's gone about some 55, 60 odd metres. Well kicked there from Caleb Zeeble. And we're just mere seconds away now. So this will be taken up in. The man himself, Caleb Zeeble, just puts that big, don't argue, but just managed to lose a grip. Can the Mustangs get a consolation try to perhaps take into next week? They'll probably have about 2, maybe 3 players at most. It's just eluded them today. This is Besgrove. That's gone into the hand. Bailey Cox, I think for a team that's gone down, I think he's been their best player across. He's been by far the busiest player for the Mustangs.
Mate, for an 18-year-old to come on and do what he's done, it's a credit to him. So well done to Bailey Cox.
It's certainly been the theme for the like anyone that's played under 18s this year. But that being said, though, Crossy, I think another thing that just I believe is they've also had as we can see, that's game, set, match out. The Hornets going back-to-back wins. Although as we get, it's not quite finished yet, but now it seems over. Crossy is just about to make mention. You've got to also take into consideration though, like, a lot of these players, especially the under-18s Northern Rivers Titans, they've had a pre-season. They've had the John Staley Cup competition, but some of those boys went to the UK end of last year. They haven't had much of an off-season, probably only because of COVID. They only had a couple of months off, but they played a lot more football than a lot of these boys out there, and I think it's showing as far as how they've all been playing as of late.
Yeah, and as we know, it's much easier for young blokes to stay fit than some of the older
I
brigaders.
can vouch for that, I can tell you.
Yeah, so good to watch here this afternoon for the Hornets, and really pleased to see these young guys come into the Hornets team and make a genuine difference to their footy style. You know, we saw Weaver come on after the first 20 minutes, and De Groot for mine. I mean, he was that second half, he was outstanding. So well done to all the young boys on show out here this afternoon.
So Crossy, who do you like for man of the match? Your pick.
Mate, I'd have to go with young De Groot. I think he was outstanding. As I said, he blew that game wide open early in the fourth quarter, and he laid on a silky pass for O'Gorman when he went down that right edge, and then he scored that brilliant try up the middle, and his positional play was outstanding, and he played on the ball at times. I thought he was great, mate. For me, he's my man of the match.
And I think, and I certainly won't disagree with you there, because he scored that one try and he set up the other one for Ben O'Gorman, which was probably the decisive part of the game. But then again, we can't take anything off Tim James as well for that stubborn try that he scored in the corner too.
Outstanding. And I really want to give praise once again to the number 9 for Cudgen, Jackson Roheda.
Absolutely.
Hopefully I've pronounced your name right there, Jackson. But, mate, to him, great game. He asked questions every time he went to the line, and he led their line speed and defence. So he was enormous as well.
Crossy, so as we know, we live in a world where we're living in a world of uncertainty, certainly week to week, but hopefully this won't be the last time that you and I will be on the mic. Hopefully some sort of common sense will prevail, but nevertheless, hopefully sometime in the season we'll be back doing this again.
Mate, I hope so. It's been very enjoyable. Hopefully we're on again next week. At this stage, of course, we are. Yeah. But if something happens and it all changes, I mean, for me, mate, it's been great to watch some guys come into this competition this year, whether it be through the Queensland Cup or elsewhere. If one thing that COVID has done, it's actually brought some guys back here to this competition and has strengthened the competition. So, to try to get some sort of positive out of a negative, that's it for me.
Well, one thing's definitely certain is you'll be on the Dwayne podcast come Wednesday night. Looking forward to it, brother.
Looking forward to it, mate. We'll see you then.
And that is all she wrote here at Ned Bird Oval in the first round of this split competition in the Northern Division. It's full-time here at Ned Bird Oval in Kingscliff. Cudgen Hornets getting it done 28 versus the Murwillumbah Mustangs 20.
Whether you're suffering from a common cold, have a more advanced breathing problem like asthma, or want to boost your sports performance, improving your breathing can help.
So
Air Physio
enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe,
easier.
and we'll hopefully we'll be on the podcast on Wednesday night. So tune into the Dwayne podcast on YouTube and